Welcome back to Excellence in Motion, the Youth Spotlight series. I'm your host, Angelina, a high school junior dedicated to uplifting the voices of my peers who are making moves, chasing their passions, and redefining excellence. The series is about shining a light on young talent, resilience, and ambition, straight from the source. Today, we are stepping on stage with a young artist whose voice, creativity, and passion has captivated audiences in Pittsburgh and beyond. I'm sitting down with Aryanna Kapree, a singer, songwriter, dancer, and actress from Swissville, Pennsylvania. Aryanna's artistry has taken her to some of the biggest stages in the region, including WYEP's Summer Music Festival and performances with the Alumni Theater Company. Most recently, she was selected as the only student from Pennsylvania to attend the prestigious Grammy Museum's Grammy Camp 2024 in Los Angeles, where she has honed her craft among some of the best young musicians in the country. Currently a senior at Woodland Hills High School, Aryana is a shining example of dedication, creativity, and pure star power. We're diving into her journey, her inspirations, and what it takes to thrive as a young artist in today's world. Get ready for an episode filled with passion and the heart of a true performer, right here on Excellence in Motion. Hello, Aryana. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm feeling good today.
That's wonderful. So I would like to get started with a little bit about you. If you could just tell us where you're from and what you're currently doing in and outside of school.
All right. I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Swissville area to be exact. Really bouncing all around the east end of the region. I was born in Las Vegas, however, and a lot of people don't know that about me because I moved at an early age. But yes, it is west side. I currently go to Woodland Hills High School. That was my home district. I've been there since 7th grade from preschool, and I left for a little bit, went to Westinghouse Arts Academy to do musical theater, and it's always been my dream to get a diploma from the school that I started from, so I'm really happy to be back at Woody.
Is there anything super exciting happening in your world right now?
I have so many auditions and college stuff coming up. It's like a little bit stressful, but also a little bit exciting. I feel like it's really the next step for me. So just getting everything together, as well as high school production. I'm in Hairspray right now for my school, so I'm super excited about that. And as well as my Grammy Camp application is still pending, so we'll hear from them. They just opened this new musical theater track in New York, so I applied there because that's what I'm really passionate about. So hoping for the best of luck.
That's wonderful, and we wish you so much luck with that as well. Can you talk about a little bit what it's been like navigating the college process as an artist?
It's definitely been a little bit stressful. I would say if you're not somebody that is already confident in your work, I feel like it can be something that can tear you down a little bit, knowing that it is all up to the opinions of others, whether or not your work is quote unquote good or not. And also, I just would hope that it wouldn't discourage anybody either if they weren't to be accepted into any academy or university for art, because it is so subjective and it is ever-changing. So just knowing that if you were to get denied, it doesn't mean that you're not good, just not necessarily what somebody would be looking for at the time. I would say for me, the most challenging part has been just keeping everything organized. I feel like when you're applying to so many different places and have your options open so widely, it can be kind of hard to maintain a structure almost. So just making sure you're on top of everything and have the academic part on top of your artistic part, having good recordings of everything.
I'm assuming you have a college counseling office and some sort of direction at Woodland Hills. Do you feel like they've been supportive with helping you in your journey since you're looking to go into something a little bit less, if common would be the word, but a lot of people are going into more traditional majors that a wider range of schools offer and are good at, and so since yours is a little bit more niche, do you feel like they've been supporting you well around that?
I feel like they have been as supportive as they can, and I really love my counselors at my school. However, I can see a little bit of disconnect or confusion. It's kind of like we're learning through it together and pushing through it together because it is something that isn't very traditional, and there are a lot of students that are applying for more academic-based things as opposed to something that's artistic. And another thing that kind of threw me off when I started applying. A lot of people my age are using like the Common App. They actually don't have a lot of art schools or even HBCUs available on there. So it is something that a lot of people are needing to do independently.
Yeah, I noticed that starting to fill out my Common Apps. It's a very selected amount of institutions. So I understand your struggles around that. Have you thought about minoring in something less artistic, like taking a minor in education so you could be a music teacher maybe, or anything that's not so straightforward?
I've actually thought about taking a minor in writing, literature. I would love to go into creative writing, mainly because it is one of my passions, things of that nature. So, a minor in creative writing, I feel, would help me in both aspects, speaking about poetry and possible books and things of that, but also give me a little bit of guidance when looking towards a director role or just like a screenwriter or anything of that nature.
That's really cool. And then you mentioned a book. So do we have a possible memoir coming in the years?
I'm writing something. I have some gold, some really gold, some really deep stuff in my notebook right now. I have about 6 of them, and there's a special blue one that has some deep stuff in it recently that have just came to me, and I feel as though as I'm going through this transitioning time in my life, I just turned 18, and there's a bit of like hopelessness in it all. And I feel like writing through it really helps me figure it all out. So possibly, I've been trying to figure out what it can possibly turn into, whether that would be like a small memoir or a full-size book or anything of that nature. But I'm just kind of seeing where the wind takes me.
Yes, that's very inspirational, especially because I know that a lot of people who listen do have a close connection to writing also.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that one of the biggest things as a writer is to hear other writers talk about having a similar connection that you do, kind of just as a very validating experience. This is a little bit off topic, but I am personally curious about what your connection to blue is, because it comes up a lot in a lot of your style, and the colors for Woodland Hills, one of which is a blue.
Mm-hmm.
And so is there any correlation there, or is it just like an Aryana thing?
Um, I would say I cling on to the color blue, I think mainly because I've seen it so much growing up and it meant so much to me. There's a lot of pride that I take in being a student at Woodland Hills, and I feel like it's not very common, even amongst my peers, but there's just a true heart that goes into it, and I have a lot of spirit for my school. So growing up and seeing that really was something that always inspired me, and I always carried with me, as well as family members. One in specific, my Uncle Mel, passed away recently, but he was a big part of my upbringing, and he loved the color blue. And we also used to live by Rankin and everything like that, and always seeing, going across the Blue Bridge. I knew I was going to Kennywood and having a good time and things like that. I just have a lot of very good memories with that color blue that just bring me back, make me feel loved. And also, shout out to autism awareness as well. I have 2 little siblings. They're twins, 1 boy, 1 girl. They're 5 years old now, and they have autism. So I always want to spread light on that and show love to that, and I know that's the whole thing for that. So there is a lot of things that tie me to it, but I love it. And also something that was so confirming at the beginning of the school year when we were getting our cheer uniforms and everything, getting some diamonds encrusted on our jerseys, and they happen to be Capri blue. And I was like, wow, that's a real thing? I didn't know that Capri was a shade of blue. Now I just have to stick with it forever and ever and ever. So, yeah.
That's really funny how that all connected.
I know.
That's a sign.
I
That's a sign from
know.
something.
Yes.
Oh my God, you mentioned so many things I want to talk about. Okay, I'll start with the siblings. So you're a big sister. I also have twin 5-year-old little sisters.
My gosh.
They're identical. So that's just like, I love other people who have twins because it's just such a cool thing. But as being a big sister and being a role model, how do you find that intertwines with your work?
I want to make sure I'm a good example for them, but also I feel like it drives me so much harder every time I see them, and knowing that they're growing up and knowing that they be so happy for me. Like when I'm practicing my songs or something, they're like, clap, they say bravo, bravo. The way that they light up, and also being able to give them the life and opportunities in which they deserve. I really just want to open doors for them through my work and through my music.
Are you the oldest?
I am the oldest, actually.
I'm an oldest too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's a consistent theme around oldest children, is like having all of your dreams and passions for you, but then also making sure that like you are putting yourself in the best position to be successful so that your little siblings can see your success.
Yes.
And then they can really believe that they can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I am curious about being an artist in Pittsburgh, and I know I have particular feelings around the Pittsburgh area about community, and I feel like we have pockets of community, but overall, as a city, we're not that supportive of our local artists and creative people. And so, do you feel like you're uplifted by the city around you, or do you feel like you found kind of smaller communities?
It's all about how far you spread yourself. I've been blessed with opportunities within the city and outside of the city. I've probably performed on all four ends of our region by now. But I will say I get the most love and support from those that grew up around me or in my area and things like that, people that know me. I feel like, yeah. That's good.
Yeah, that's perfect. So you mentioned being a cheerleader. You're also in the musical, and we know that you're a performer. How do you balance all of those things?
It's all about being where your feet are. It's really easy to get caught up in your head and stress about what's next and what you have going on the next day. But as long as you're grounded and fully immersed in what you're doing in this moment, it's much more easy to stay level headed and not so stressed about everything. Just taking things one day at a time and just being grateful for everything. People can get stressed, and even me, like, I go through a lot of different mental spirals and things as it comes with age, but I found that gratitude really breaks all of that. If you're just really grateful for all that you have, there's really no need to stress about it or put any negativity around it.
That is really great advice because, if you're focused on the past, then you're missing the present. And if you're too focused on the future, you're still missing the present. And so just staying very rooted in what you're doing right now is a wonderful sentiment to pass on. Transitioning back into your performer side, do you have a favorite performance memory that stands out? No,
Yes,
all of
I
them.
do.
They're all great.
I do. Actually, just this past summer, I was doing a Carrick Community Day, and I always like to watch the show. I always like to come a little early and see the people that come on before me because I love watching live music. I love watching performers. Like, it's good being on the stage, but I love being an audience member as well. And there were a lot of children there that were like hype. Like, they were so hype about these performers, and just seeing that was really inspiring, and even more inspiring when it was my turn to get on the stage and seeing the children light up the same way. And I remember there was this one girl that I was grooving with before my call time, and when I got on the stage, she was just like so happy. And my last song that I did, I had brought her on, and that just really meant a lot to me. And her mom was like so gracious, and she made this like Instagram post about it, but it was really just important for me to do that. Like, it felt really good knowing that I could be that person for somebody else, because I just remember being that little kid, like, enjoying performances and enjoying seeing people in the community and making music and getting love for it. And being able to be a part of that was something that I always dreamed of. So just being able to do that for somebody else was really, really nice for me. And not knowing how that will affect her life moving forward, it's just special.
Yeah, those full circle moments where it kind of comes back to you are really, really gratifying and very fulfilling moments. And so, in terms of your music, what first sparked your interest and love for both creating music and also performing?
I always loved to sing. I always loved singing, and I always was writing and things of that nature. I think what really pushed me to perform was when I got into the whole acting thing. I used to do a lot of improv as a child. It really helped me get in front of a crowd. And I used to be interested in like choirs and singing at church and stuff like that. So when I felt like I was a little bit good at what I was doing, I felt like maybe I could stand on my own and start performing. That really helped me build my confidence and my ability to perform in front of a crowd, just as a vulnerable individual.
So, which part of your creative performer journey came first? Was it like the songwriting and the singing, or was it the performing and the improv and the being in productions? Because you mentioned like the time when those two intertwined. So, which side were you on first?
I think it definitely was singing. It definitely was the music first, and then the acting part actually came along from preaching. I used to preach and pray over my family. It's so corny to think about, but I used to really like gather everybody in one room and just like preach and talk about God and I will pray over everybody and things of that nature, and it will all just be off the top of my head and things like that. So I remember specifically being really young, probably around like age 7, and I was with my grandfather and my grandma in the living room, and I had this flower, and I just wanted to do a monologue about this flower and speak about my relation to it and things of that nature, and it kind of just went on from there.
How has faith and your spirituality and your connection with God kind of driven or stabilized your journey?
I feel like it's very important in this industry to really have a purpose and be at one with that purpose at all times. It's so easy to lose sight of it. So when you are led by faith, you know that it's not for nothing. It's a different sense of knowing and direction that comes with it. It's very helpful.
Finding your purpose is a very nuanced and very heavy thing.
Mm.
It's so multifaceted, and it can be a combination of emotions and actions and beliefs. But if you could verbalize what you think your purpose is in a few words, how would you put it?
It's the execution and ability to vocalize emotions and circumstances that other people may not be able to. One thing that everybody needs is a sense of community and a sense of belonging. And I feel like when there's somebody who is able to vocalize those feelings that may be so buried deep down inside, it is something that is fulfilling and helpful to those. And that's really what I'm all about. Like, I really want to help people.
After this airs, I'm sure everyone will be beating down your door for all of those wonderful insights. Shifting back to your artistry a little bit, we know that you are a singer, a songwriter, a dancer, and an actress, all of which require very different skill sets. So how do you balance and blend all of your creative outlets?
I think it's really just about putting yourself into everything that you do fully, allowing yourself to make mistakes and allowing yourself to be silly and vulnerable and cutesy and ugly and all of the things above. It comes with a lot of colors and just being willing to try new things and being open, being able to take notes and criticism and things like that, and knowing when you shouldn't take notes and criticism. I think in that case, it's really about discernment and intuition, but also making mistakes. So if something didn't feel right for you, knowing that, okay, maybe this isn't right for me, and being able to pivot and turn and find other alleys. But I feel like I'm blessed to know that it all ties together, and having a bigger picture is what really matters to me, because I know that I'm using this to get to this. So I really like my music. I want to make my music so that one day I can have an opportunity to perform on a larger scale, or I'm doing this so I can have opportunities to be in rooms with different casting directors and know about different auditions and things like that for film and TV, things like that. So it really just all ties together, especially in a creative sense.
You touched on like the importance of being vulnerable and, taking the spectrum of change as it comes. How do you feel like social media has played a part in that? Because I found you on Instagram. So I know that you're very, as is everyone in our generation, very online oriented in terms of like sharing things. And then you also shared your aspirations for remaining to be found on the internet, both through film, through audio, your videos. So all of these things online. How do you feel like that ties in?
Maintaining a social media presence is, unfortunately, it's not the end all be all, but it's definitely very important in this day and age of things. I feel like it's been very helpful for me as far as putting myself out there and getting feedback and getting such amazing people that want to work with me and finding people that are like-minded. Just maintaining the mindset of not a consumer, but an actual producer, and somebody that is putting out work and things that you want to be viewed, and not getting so caught up in everything else. Just be careful. Just be careful. Feelings are real.
That is very true. Feelings are very much real, both on and off the internet. So you have achieved so much, from all your major performances to Grammy Camp, and I'm really excited to see what is next for you. So are there any upcoming projects or performances that we should keep an eye out for?
Well, we have Hairspray running at Woodland Hills High School in the Thomas G. Crone Auditorium. We open April 25th, 26th. We will also be performing May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. There will be 2 shows on the 3rd, one at 2 p.m. and one at 8 p.m. And then on the 26th of April, we also do have 2 shows, a matinee performance on the 26th. Like I said, that one will be at 3 p.m. And then the rest of the shows are all at 8 p.m. You can come see me there. I'll be a Dynamite in Hairspray. And as far as like performances and things like that, I haven't really been too focused on that. I'm really in writing and recording mode. I really want to get a project out by the end of the summer, hopefully. I really feel like I'm in need of like a body of work or something where I can really tell a story in depth, something more than just, the 3-minute mark that everybody tends to cling on to these days. Yeah, I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, guys. I'm really hoping to get in a Grammy Camp this year, too. I just want to see what this new program's all about, and I'll be posting a lot of that stuff, too.
That is super exciting. And because your episode will be released before the musical,
Okay.
I hope that everyone listening to Excellence in Motion goes to support you. And so that you know that they're from Excellence in Motion, I'm going to strongly encourage all of our listeners to bring blue flowers of some sort so that you can just get all of your wonderful support and have hopefully a large amount of flowers to take home.
Yes, I'll cry. I'll cry.
But I am so excited for that. And I hope that you do get back on the stage soon, because I would love to see a live performance, whether that be a concert or a charity event. Anything where we can see all of that wonderful artistry and talent on stage would be amazing. That's where we'll pause today's conversation with the incredible Aryanna Kapree. Her journey, her mindset, and the way she's using her talent to uplift others is just next level. But trust me, we're not done yet. In part 2, we will dig even deeper into her passions, her plans for the future, and the impact she is already making. So stay locked in. Excellence in Motion continues next time.